Begin all prayers and thinking as part of the all. Aum Atum, Aum Atun, Aum Amun, Aum Kalum, Aum. Let us Nuwaubians begin this class today with this oration of gratitude for our very existence, and for our health, and for the answers to all of the unanswered questions, and for our Savior and Teacher. Let us give gratitude to Neter Aferti Atumre, who has been raised up amongst us to break the spell of ignorance. Let us thank the four elements, of which we are the fifth. Let us thank the first element, the Neteru. Let us thank the second element, the Anunnaki. Let us thank the third element, the Nomos. Let us thank the fourth element, the Els. We give thanks, we give praise, and we give gratitude for this great day and time that we live in. We give thanks, we give praise, and we give gratitude for the great and holy city, Tamare, Atlantis rising in the west. All gratitude and all praise and all thanks we give as part of all. The all is I am. Let us Nuwaubians end this class in hopes that our soul is satisfied and our quest for truth has been reached in Nuwaubu. Let us thank the ancient ones for this right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. Let us thank the ancient ones for sending Neter Aferti Atumre, who alone had the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to break the spell. Let us all say together, we are thankful. We are thankful. We are thankful. We are happy. All right.
Chapter 2, El Abd, the slave. Tablet 4, Adam, a slave made to order. 19 times 10 equals 190. Lo, my child, you ask, why did we fashion you to be slaves? We are a slave made to order. Why are you a slave made to order? First, know that all of you are Adam of the ground. Know that we created you, the atom, for the purpose of helping your species. After the crash of your planet, your species were becoming extinct. So we had recounsel, and we said amongst ourselves, without the permission of Anu, let us make Adamites in our very own image, being in our likeness in all ways. However, all did not go well with this plan. The Anunnaki Elohim of the mines were complaining that their jobs in the mines were too hard. So they decided amongst themselves, without the permission of Anu, the Most High, to create you for the purpose of doing their work. There was no Adam to till the land. These are two important and unsettling hints to who had created humans and why. You must know the truth, and it shall make you free. This truth is that the back-breaking work in the gold mines in Raphaeli had become unbearable. Enlil, their commander-in-chief, summoned the ruler of Nibiru, his father Anu, to an assembly of the great Anunnaki and demanded harsh punishment of his rebellious crew. But Anu was more understanding. What are we accusing them of? He asked, as he heard the complaints of the mutineers. Their work was heavy, their distress was much. Was there no other way to obtain the gold, he wondered out loud. Yes, said his other son, Enki, Enlil's half-brother and rival, the brilliant chief scientist of the Anunnaki. I saw that it was possible to relieve the Anunnaki of the unbearable toil by having someone else take over the difficult work. I resolved to let a primitive worker be created. The idea appealed to the assembled Anunnaki.
The more they discussed it, the more clear their clamor grew for such a primitive worker, and Adamu to take over the workload. But they wondered, how can't you create a being intelligent enough to use tools and to follow orders? How was the creation or bringing forth of the primitive worker to be achieved? Was it indeed a feasible undertaking? Enki answered, saying, the creature whose name you uttered, it exists. All you have to do, he added, is to bind upon it the image of the Anunnakis. The Anunnaki did not create humans from nothing. The being was already there on Gaia, Earth, the product of evolution. All that was needed to upgrade it to the required level of ability was intelligence. To bind upon it the image of the Anunnakis, the image of the Elohim themselves. The process envisioned by Enki was to bind upon the existing creature the image, the inner genetic makeup of the Anunnaki. The assembled Anunnaki resolved to proceed the project without informing Anu, and on Enki's suggestion, assigned the task to Ninti, their chief medical officer, who was under the impression that Anu had approved this project. They summoned and asked Ninti, the midwife of the Anunnakis, the wise birth giver, saying, to a creature give life, create workers, create a primitive worker, that he may bear the yoke. This process took place in the laboratory Shemti, meaning house where the wind of life is breathed in.
After the purifying and extracting procedures were completed, the Anunnaki Elohim, who purifies the Napishtu, Enki, spoke up. Seated before her, Ninti, he was prompting her after she had recited her affirmation. I am in the love of the all, and all love is in me. I am a part of the all, and the all is a part of me. I am one with the all, and the all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of the all and fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in the all as long as my wish is to stay in the all. I am never alone. The all is, I am. The all can, I can. The all does, I do. She put her hand to the clay. The mixing of the clay with all the component extracts and essences was not yet the end of the procedure. The egg of the ape woman fertilized in the purifying baths with the sperm and genes of the 7 young Anunnaki Elohim was then deposited in a mold where the binding was to be completed. Enki announced to the gathered Anunnaki that his own spouse, Ninki, Lady of the Earth, had volunteered for the task. Ninki, my spouse, he announced, will be the one for labor. She was to be the one to determine the fate of the new being. The newborn's fate you shall pronounce. Ninki will fix upon the image of the Anunnaki, and what it will be is human. The female Anunnaki chosen to serve as birth Anunnaki if the experiment succeeded. Enki said one should stay and observe closely for the first 3 months the Nakashians are present. In the second 3 months the Rumardians are present. But the last 3 months the Elohims are present. So guard against thievery by the Luciferians, those disagreeable Yahwehans. Keep a watchful eye over what was happening. The birth Anunnaki were kept together. Ninti sat counting the months. The fateful 10th month was approaching. The 10th month arrived. The period of opening the womb had elapsed. Humans' creation, it appears, was compounded by a late birth. Medical interventions was called for. Realizing what had to be done, Ninti covered her head with an instrument that made it possible through ray beams for her to see an opening.
With this done, that which was in the womb came forth. Grabbing the newborn babe, she was overcome with joy. Lifting it up for all to see, she shouted triumphantly, I have created, my hands have made it. The first Adam was brought forth. Now enough mixed clay was prepared to start pregnancies in the 14th birth Anunnakis at a time. Ninti tipped off 14 pieces of clay. 7 she deposited on the right. 7 she deposited on the left. Between them she placed the mold. Now the procedures were genetically engineered to come up with 7 males and 7 females at a time. The wise and learned, or double 7, the birth Anunnakis had assembled. 7 brought forth males, 7 brought forth females. The female Anunnakis brought forth the wind of the breath of life, the creation of the Lulu Amelu, primitive worker. The Homo sapiens came about through a feat of genetic engineering and embryo implant techniques. This new being had 9 ether hair and was known as the benevolent ones, called the Dunakio. They possessed the hydrocephalic state, but were going through a long process of evolution. However, the Anunnaki jumped in and sped up the Adamite evolutionary process, creating you sooner than you would have evolved on your own. In any case, just as the Anunnaki had done on Nibiru, both coming from the same seed of life. So this creation was done by genetic manipulation. It was not done in an instant. It took 600 years in the grafting and the making of this being. Male called Humin, female called Humin. They went through a lot of trial of error to get the perfect being, which accounts for all your defects in the world today. It took them exactly 600 years, which took 400 years for the breeding of 4 generations, as in all cloning and genetic splicing or grafting. That's 10 people per 100 years and comes out to 40 people over a period of 400 years. 100 years before the 400 for the preparation. That is collecting the choice species for breeding, or what is now called abducting, and the building of the laboratories on the planet Lahmu, Mars. The Anunnaki did this without the permission of Anu, Elion, Elion, El. They were not supposed to jump in and speed up your evolutionary process. This was the birth of you, Zakar, the human, called Adam of the red soil, the copper tone, with the atomic weight of 63.546, and its chemical symbol is Cu, its atomic number being 29. It's always in a perfected oxidized state when the electrons of this magnetic earth field dissipates and the higher form manifests in the color green by the absence of the atmosphere filled with oxygen, with its atomic weight being 15,909 and 4. It has the atomic number of 8 and its chemical symbol is O.
Its diatomic molecule, it makes up 20.95% of the volume of dry air. Diatomic oxygen is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. When the breath of life is breathed into the being in the form of Ruach, a great wind mixed with life of the Elohim and life of the earth, it is the intake of oxygen. The earth, life, produces ions which are molecule-bearing electrical charges having within it a great number of negative electrons unequal to the number of positive protons in a nuclei. This process transforms the color of the being, manifesting the positive charges through the melanin. There is melanin and neuromelanin, a form of melanin found in the peripheral nervous system, which is the central nervous system. The Luciferians, who are the Halabians, Flugelrods, or Hulub, the fathers of the albino races, today tries to reduce the importance of melanin. they being of all the creatures on the planet with melanin, the less carrier. Yet controlling propaganda and the media tries to hide the very word melanin. They try to reduce the importance of melanin by overlooking the significant difference between brain melanin and skin melanin properties. Neuromelanin does not run parallel with your skin melanin, whether white, red, yellow, black, brown, or albino. Neuromelanin plays an important role in the functioning of the brain and nervous system. O melaninite children, my child, melanin was a gift to you from your parents, the Anunnaki Elohim, and the scientists that protect it are called Nuwaubian, the residents of Shambhala and Agartha, called also the benevolent. This gift being the finest of the refined chemicals known to your species. It was given to you, the melaninite children, being that you were procreated as a new being or Nubian. It dwell in your very essence and in your environment. The melanin that is throughout your body is the same thing that colors this planet Tiamat, now called Earth. The very thing that colors the bark on trees brown, the soil of the earth, and everything that lives, and the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea. Know that it does not matter what color your skin appears to be. Know that all genes and all creatures on this very planet Earth, known as Gaia, the living organism, have melanin. For all things are coated with melanin. Melanin is the most ancient and worldwide pigment in living organism.
It is found in abundance in the original organisms such as fungi as well as advanced primates. Thus, within each and every living organism, melanin appear in that which aids the human's body, all parts that allow it to function, such as in the vertebrate. It not only dwells in the skin, eyes, ears, central nervous system, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, and the barothoric gland. It is found abundantly in the inner parts of the body, including the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, and intestines. The liver, the arteries, the muscles, the gastrointestinal tract, and the gonads. Melanin control all mental and physical body activity. Melanin is an extremely stable molecule and highly resistant to the digestion by most acids and bases, and is one of the hardest molecules to ever be analyzed. If you do not purify your melanin molecule that lay within you, you will not heal your body of its ailments. It is vitamin B that you keep melanin clean within you. Know that it manifests as pigmentations in the skin. It appears as different shades and hues, colors being black to brown, from red to yellow to white. It is also the amino acid tyrosine that controls the hue. Thus, there are 6 different types of melanin carrying beings that are known to you. They are of different hues, from very dark brown to the blackest of blacks. They are found in the depths of the land of Nubia, called Africa today, and the land of the frogs, called North America. They live near the equator. From the land of Kemet, where the original Nubian, those of the black hue, do dwell. From Kush, the land of the original Ethiopians, those of the greenish hue. From Nigerians, those of the brown hue. From the Bushmen of the Zimbabwe, those of the yellow hue. From the Sudanese, those with the copper tone reddish brown hue.
To American blacks, because of mixing with the original Hopi tribes of Native Americans, as well as mixing with the cursed seed of Canaan, the Caucasians. Thus, there are certain climates that change these descendants of the Nuwaubians who gel rods into different hues such as red or brown. Yet they can be easily distinguished from the original Nubians who range in hues from dark brown, yellow, or red. The wrongly called Negro varies in shades of all of the above, all producing an abundance of melanin in your skin, and in most cases, wrinkling does not become a factor until the age of 60. And this inheritance of melanin is inherited from generation to generation. Again, you have a Caucasian who has blonde hair and blue eyes. Descendants from the Hulub Fujairahs. These Hulub Fujairahs are now living in a cavern beneath the Antarctic. They are the fathers of the Nordic race, not to be confused with the Canaanites whose leprosy is the result of a curse of albinoism cast upon Ham, the father of Canaan, by an Nephishtim called Noah after the craft that rested down on the surface. The albino seed name comes from the sea albino. Albion, called the White Island. It is in the land of the Saxons and the Angelicas called Brit today. These Hulub Fujairahs are originally from the Aldebaran star constellation and the Pleiades. They produce extremely low levels of melanin. And what is the importance of this thing called melanin? The pigment melanin is responsible for the color of skin. When melanin does not appear in the skin, it is a deficiency. And this deficiency comes about because of the absence of melanocytes. That which synthesizes the melanin is deficient. These cells, called melanocytes, are responsible for all the colors of hair from yellow to black. The tree-like melanocyte cells in the deeper epidermis is what produces this dark brown pigment called melanin. The pigment is introduced into nearby cells through the branch tips of the melanocyte cells in units called melanosomes. Know that hair turns gray when the melanocytes die. There are different textures of hair, 6 ether to 9.
Hair can be straight, 6 ether meaning 6-point melanin, wavy, curly, 7 and 1/2 point melanin, or kinky, 9-point ether, and it is in that kinky or kingly hair that was given to you from your parents, the Anunnaki Elohim. Then there are those beings who are albinos. This genetic disorder, albinism, is a group of genetic disorders affecting 1 out of every several thousand humans and other animals. The first being Canaan himself. His curse was the removal of the divine, which was the reduction of melanin, thus cutting off his family ties with the Elohim. He transformed from a son of the Elohim to a son of Sam. For you that is born an albino, if both your parents are albinos, then you can only be an albino. This is because your parents does not possess any of the dominant genes. Albinism, if carried in the genes of 2 Nubians, will produce an albino offspring. Mixing of your seed depletes your melanin. When the Anunnaki took residence in Arcturus, the original home of the Teros, they mixed their seed with them who were copper tone in hue, while the Anunnaki were olive green tone on hue. This mixture is why Anunnaki appear copper tone in hue. This mixing took place for 7,000 years. Eating the improper foods or overeating overloads your body as well. Then your connection is blocked, thus disease manifests. Melanin is deranged only when it becomes toxic, and any individuals who might have toxic melanin will act in a very similar manner, that which is primitive, animalistic, and barbaric. Why there is a great concentration on drugging the Nubians of the Western world. Melanin has physical properties and personality traits which distinguished it from others. Melanin smells sweet. Your body is dedicated to making melanin. Wake, my child, for the time is near. Each cell in the human body needs its own oxygen carried by the blood. Human blood is similar to chlorophyll of the plant life. Human blood has two main constituents.
The cells of corpuscles comprise of 45%, and the liquid portion of plasma in which the cells are suspended comprises 55%. The blood cells comprises three main types. Red blood cells are erythrocytes. White blood cells are or leukocytes, which in turn are many different types. And the third, platelets, are thrombocytes. Each type of cell has its own individual function in the human body. Plasma, the colorless solution, is 90% water. It carries different ions of molecules, including proteins, enzymes, hormones, nutrients, and waste materials such as urate and fibrinogen, the protein that creates the clot that becomes the congealed blood when the water is removed, dehydrates, and returns to dust. The substance in the red blood cells that is largely responsible for their ability to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide is hemoglobin, the material that gives the cells the red color. It is a protein complex comprising many linked amino acids and occupies almost the entire volume of red blood cells. Essential to the structure and functions is iron. Its atomic weight is 55.847. Its chemical symbol is Fe, atomic number being 26. When these two occur simultaneously, the physical part of the being created is Bashara, skin of the soil of Gaia, the living organism, called Earth, whose essence is soil. And this Gaia, also spelled Gaia, is in fact a living organism named after the Greek goddess Ge, or Pangea, meaning all land, and that one landmass being Earth, where physical and chemical conditions exist on the surface and within the interior, within the atmosphere and the ocean. It was always in existence and always active, for it is a living entity, one that was made to suit the conditions to exist within the boundless universe. For Gaia is a living entity existing within the all. Gaia has been and always will be prosperous, having favorable conditions, causing the presence of life itself to be thought of as significant. Any species is, of course, a key development of this living organism called Gaia.
Yet, because your existence came along so far after the creation of Gaia, originally called Tiamat, it is inappropriate to question whether life of any species has a significant meaning to why Gaia came about. Know that Gaia is a complex entity involving the Earth's biosphere. It is a self-regulating organism that grows and has climate changes. Gaia is living matter. The air, the ocean, land surface forms this now complex system, which has the capacity to keep it existing. Why call Earth a planet when 3/4 of its surface is sea? That's why when pictures are taken of it from above, it appears to be blue sapphire. Know that water is a part of the mechanism that helps keep the planet running. It transforms the radiant energy from Apsu, the sun, into the motion of air and water, which in turn distributes this energy all over Gaia. Gaia runs off cybernetics, which is a self-regulating system of communication and control in living organisms and machines. Thus, when the physical part of a being is created, your bashara, skin, is the soil of Gaia, the living organism called Earth, and your very essence is soil. With their contents begins the process as rusting and manifests itself in a copper tone. When this oxygen is removed, an oxidation begins. The being returns to its original state as the greenest olive. And this Adamite being mixed with the abducted black man called Hindu, having 6 ether hair mixed. To manifest a child of the Elohims having 7 1/2 ether hair, his mate Nekebal, Eve, being unmixed, undiluted, and untampered, possessed the holy gene, the 9 ether, woolly, kingly hair. Yet her bashara, skin tone, was at the beginning of the melanin process. She was of the yellow seed, not the red, brown, nor black. You were created to be slaves, to work the mines for the Anunnaki.
Tablet 5, the death of a slave. 19 times 3 equals 57. Lo, when the term of the leaves is over for the slave, 40 days of his life remain to him, his leaves begin to fall, and his leaf falls in the room of Enki, who bore the title Israel. By this sign he knows that he is commanded to take the soul of its owner. After that, its owner is called dead in the galactical heavens, while he is alive in the face of the earth for 40 days. Michael will descend with the scroll of the Anunnaki of death from Anu Elyon Elyon El, and on it is written the name of the one whose soul he is commanded to take. At the place in which the soul is to be taken, the cause for which it is to be taken are written. In reality, Adamites do not die, they merely transform from state to state. 2 drops fall below the throne of the name of its owner. One is green and the other is red. If the red drop falls on the name, he knows that he is wretched. If the green drop falls on the name, he knows that he is happy. As for the knowledge of the place in which he will die, the Anunnaki that is entrusted as a guardian to everyone born entrusts this information. He is called Rahman, the Anunnaki of the womb. When one is born, he is created. He is then commanded to register in the drop which is in the womb of the mother, where in the dust of the earth he will die. So the slave becomes a corpse and changes, then turns to the place where his earth was taken from, so he dies in it. His words are, I am where I am, and where I have started, and where I have ended my journey. Thus ends one's journey and begins another. This transformation is called death. It is also related that when a slave is in the death struggle, his tongue is stopped before Anunnaki comes to him.
The first says, the peace be upon you. I am entrusted with your provision. I have flown throughout the planet Earth, east and west, and have not found any morsel of your provision at this hour. The second then enters and says, the peace be upon you. I am entrusted with your drink of water and other drinks. I have flown east and west, and have not found any drink of water for you at this hour. Then the third enters and says, peace be upon you. I am entrusted with your breaths. I have flown east and west, and have not found one breath for you. So the fourth Anunnaki enters and says, The peace be upon you. I am entrusted with your term. I have flown east and west through the planet Earth, and I have not found 1 hour for you. The one on his right says, the peace be upon you. I am entrusted with your right action. So he brings out a bright page and spreads it before him and says, look at your deeds. So he is happy and rejoices. The one on his left says, I am entrusted with your wrong action. So he brings out a red page and spreads it before him and says, look at it.
So his sweat pours down, and he looks right and left for fear of reading the page. The Anunnaki insists and puts it down on his pillow and leaves. Then the two harsh Anunnaki descend, burning the planet with their talons. They are Munkir and Nakir. So they sit with him and they say to him, who is your sustainer? Who is your news bearer? What is your way of life? If he is of the people of the happiness, he says, my El Rab sustainer is Anu Elion El, glorified and exalted. My spiritual guide is the Son of Righteousness. He who El Elo, most glorified and exalted, guides with his illustrious scripture, his holy tablets. And my way of life is Nuwaubian. Then they say to him, sleep the sleep of the bridegroom. And they open a hole by his head. And he looks through it to his seat and placed in the enclosed garden. Then the Anunnaki return with his Ruach, soul to the skies, and they place the Ruach in a candlestick attached to the throne.
Tablet 6, the prayer of the slaves, 19 times 1 equals 19. Lo, when the slaves spoke, these are the words that came forth from your lips. The praise and gratitude is due to the appointed El Elo, the caretaker of the servants of the Anunnaki, and thanks to Ninti, she who dared to procreate them, and thanks to the Enlil and Enki, for all would be incomplete if left unsaid, the birth of a slave, all of which was done by the All within the All, in the image and after the likeness of those Anunnaki. And I proceed to say, in the name of Anu, who is also called Allah, the gracious, the merciful. We, the servants, the aiders of the Anunnaki, the Ansarullah, were procreated to work that we may give praise and show gratitude to Anu, the Yielder, the most merciful, our Master, our Savior, the beloved appointed one who has sent us guidance through his anointed one. For our life is on this planet Earth, that which was also designed by you. We may bask in the soul of the earth. Cursed to dwell within idleness is to become a stranger, who approaches the solstice as if you are not constant. For everything that lives is constant as change. For all is real in change, for change is the only absolute. And to deviate from the holiness that has been breathed within the essence of life, that readily submits to the All with the affirmation, I am in the love of the All, and all love is in me. I am part of the All, and the All is a part of me. I am one with the All, and the All is one with me. I can succeed as a part of the All, and fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in the All, as long as my wish is to stay in the All. I am never alone. The All is, I am. The All can, I can. The All does, I do. When I work, I should be as the strings of a guitar, through whose soul the silence of the moment becomes harmonious. Which of you would be likened unto a leaf who plays when the wind blows, when all else sings together harmoniously? I never want to see work as a curse of misfortune for being disobedient. I say to you, when you work, then fulfill a part of the distant dream of nature. The birth of that dream was the gift unto you, and you who truly loves life will forever reside in labor, if you truly love. Thus through labor will you loveth life, for it is why you were procreated. Through labor the intimacy of life's innermost secrets will manifest. Is mind flesh and enslavement? Does this birth cloak me? Shall time and age destroy the gift of everlasting life, and that which was inscribed upon the Akasha tablets of all? Free me. I am to accept that to live is to dwell in ignorance. Yet I am ever grateful for my existence to Elo, appointed by the All. For the All appoints all things. This is how it was recorded, and this is how it will be.
Begin all prayers and thinking as a part of the all. We are pleased, we are satisfied to have finally found our way home to the facts beyond any doubt, to the living truth, to living guidance, to spiritual protection, to my true family, to my true friends. We thank you again for this great class and this great work.
Beautiful, man, beautiful. All right, let me stop.